Okay, everybody, let's take a look for the next 15 minutes at how we might use Fortnite for our sustainability endeavors. And you might want to save the world, we all do, but that's a storied game where you save the world from monsters and zombies and stuff. And then there's the Battle Royale, which is the thing most kids play, which is a person versus person 100-player battle basically on this map that the game creators created. But now we want to create so you can make your islands, your friends, your rules in creative, and that's what we're looking at here. And so there's some limitations to this that we don't find with Roblox. Roblox lets us script and basically do anything, put our own models in and create our own rules and worlds. This is the default character that you get when you come into Fortnite, unless you buy another character. I just use the the default, and I hit play in creative and launch the create. Now, it doesn't have the same kind of flexibility as I said that Roblox has. You have to use what they have created for you, but you use it in interesting ways. So there are some limitations. One of the advantages of Fortnite over Roblox is that you can talk while you're playing, so you can communicate about things as you go around and tour the landscape, whereas in Roblox you can only use type chat. So kids around the world are playing Fortnite. It's one of the most popular games on the planet right now, which is why I think it's worth looking at for envisioning sustainability. And some people have already put solar panels and windmills, and as you can see here, nuclear power plants on the bad side into their games. So when you get into creative mode, you'll be in a different map every week created by different fans that have the various games that are being featured by people who are have become expert creators. Fashion show theme is there, and laser tag is there, and tropical zone wars. But down where this light is shining in the sky, you have your own places. You can change the destination. They give you a temperate island to start with, but I created Frillendorf land, which is the place where my kids live. And you can create your own place by clicking on Create New and then set your portal. So with the portal set, I walk into the portal, and the portal now takes me to my game, which is being loaded now. Here we go. So what I've basically done is I've created as good a mock-up of my kid's house, that's the spawning point, as I could. And it's not perfect, and certainly they don't have a giant piano in there. They have a regular piano, nor is there a bush there. But the basic layout is the same as their house. The tub looks different in their house, and the basin, the mirror, the toilet. But that's basically where it is. And then there's the kids' room here, which looks a bit different, but it's the basic layout of the kids' room. And then the doors are in the wrong place for rooms like this. The upstairs I haven't modeled yet, but you can see the garden down here is somewhat like what the kids' house looks like. And then there's the shed, and then there's the grandparents' kitchen, but this is the only stuff that Fortnite gives you, this old refrigerator. So there's not a lot you can do with that. But my children, Killian and Ava, can now come and see that I've created their home in Fortnite the best that I could. The computer is there, but it's a different computer, and I haven't put in the bookshelf and stuff like that. So it just basically gives an idea for how you can use the stock materials that are there. And then I put a generic supermarket down at the end of the block where it is, but not exactly where it is. And so this is not the exact supermarket that they have, but this is what came with Fortnite. So at least it gives an idea, and the kids know, oh, that's where our supermarket is, even though this doesn't look like their supermarket. And I also, there's a pizzeria on the real street, and so I put this restaurant instead of the real pizzeria that they go to. So basically, let me bounce here. Yeah, that gets me to go much faster. This house is not at all the neighbor's house. This is, not, again, a generic house that came with the game. But I've modeled the kid's house. So that's what I have going. And then I've put in another house. These are where the garbage bins are. And again, a generic house for the neighbor's house. And that's all you've basically got in Fortnite. But it's cool. You can see it's always the same couch. It's always the same kitchen. The same refrigerator. So only the layouts are different. So I've just made my own layout for the kid's house there. Now, how would you work this to make it look more realistic? Well, if you're doing your own house, one thing I'll show you is, let me go out of here and let me go to the maps and go to the actual location, which is what you would do for your house. And then you can zoom in on the street and you can see the placement of the trees. The other thing you can do is go to Street View. And when you go to Street View, now we see that there is a big tree. There's the house there. Of course, I didn't model it perfectly, you can tell now. But there's a big tree there, and there's a street tree there. So when you go into Fortnite, you would come in and find nature under here somewhere. The search function I find is really bad. It really doesn't help, but there it is. Okay, so nature. Nature tree gallery, BA nature tree gallery. So let me go to this nature, maybe this one here. Haunted Hills nature. Let's go to this tree gallery, open it up, and let's grab this tree here and go to place now. And it comes up here, and then I can walk forward. And the way you work in Fortnite Creative is you literally walk to places or fly to places and then place things. And you can see on the left side of the screen the commands. So if I place the tree there, and then grab it and try to move it, you double click to fly, and then maybe flying will help somewhat, but it's a pretty darn big tree. And it turns red if it's finding a place where it can't be placed. And when you have that, you can also right-click on your mouse, and then you can shrink things down a bit. Get that box in. And then paste it. But I pasted it in the wrong location, it looks like, again. So, although there is a tree like that, but let me right-click and grab it, and then see if I can move it. Just a little bit awkward placing a tree, but it looks like that's okay. And then let me get a different kind of tree. Let's go back and see what the other tree, yeah, it seems like a similar tree, but this one's off the sidewalk. And then there's a bunch of bushes in front. So we'll go back and find a different tree, maybe this one here, to a place now, and place this one on the street on the sidewalk. Although it's again in the wrong position, so I'll right click on it. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. That's what I wanted. Okay, so I'll back it up, back it up, back it up, right off the sidewalk. This push-pull thing, you can push, you can pull with F and C. Let's see, okay, that's not too bad. And then in terms of the bushes, then we have a cluster of bushes on this side of the house, and then there's a hedge over there. So let's see if we go and get some bushes. And that would not be a nature tree gallery, that might be a nature shrub gallery, which I can open up. And yeah, so I'll grab this bush here, place it. Again, it should shrink a little bit, it's a bit large. And go forward, walk, or simply push it forward. There we go. So you have this ability to stand still where you are, and then place the bushes. Let me push this one a little bit farther back. Alright, and then go back in to my inventory with I, and grab another bush, place it, and then push it with F. And then you can put one back here.
But it took a long time for this to get soft.
Let's see, if I fly in the air, sometimes a little easier. There we go. And then let's try something else from the inventory, maybe this one here. And then push it down to the ground. Pull it with C. Let's pull this back a bit. So it's getting it vegetated is the idea. Something like this. I'm not going to try to be exactly photo accurate here.
Getting the tomato here, you can come and
Yeah.
But I think it's looking a little bit more like what the landscape looks like, although this thing is sitting on the sidewalk and it needs to be moved in a bit. Oops. Let's go back to our reference image. Yeah, it's not horrible. There's that thing over there. It's making it somewhat recognizable is the important thing. Let's try to place this one here now. Oops. You kind of get the hang of it. And maybe a couple more bushes here.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Oh, that's not too bad.
So you can see how you can have some fun with this to create the basic idea of what your house looks like. And that's getting to be a little bit more realistic for what the house looks like. Right? Compare that again with the reference image.
Can I have a crack?
Not horrible. There's a bush over here that I missed. And
have
let's see, what does that one look like? It's a pretty broadleaf bush. Let's try this one here. We haven't done that one yet.
You want some or not?
That's more like ivy, so that's not going to work. Maybe we do this one here. Yeah, I'm going to push that in there. No, it's not the right one. By the way, you can also grab bushes that are here by right-clicking and doing a copy, and then placing the bush. And you can grow it, of course, with R. And then set that one down. Although it's in the wrong place. Let me push it that way.
You can put it in a
And
bowl.
yeah. So now we're getting a more realistic street. And on the other side of the street, if we look at our reference image, you can see that there's a hedge and a bunch of grass. So that hedge, if I look, and do I have hedges? Well, I don't have red hedges, I don't think. Let's see what's in this folder. Nah, nothing in there. So I'm not going to probably be able to get the red hedge, autumn hedge there, this winter one. So as I said, there are limitations to Roblox that you would not have in another program. I'm sorry, to Fortnite, that you wouldn't have in Roblox. But I guess that we should grab this hedge and we should shrink it down. And you would shrink it, you can shrink it in different dimensions too. By right-clicking twice, you can hit the tab key and you can shrink just the width. So now when you shrink it, that's the width that's shrinking, or R would make it grow that way, and you can then hold the tab key down and do depth and do shrink. And that makes a thinner hedge. Can't change the color though. So now that I have that, I can come along and rotate it, and we have to hold the right mouse key down and then rotate like so, and then begin to plant it on the street. And if you, then you can keep doing that, sort of like floating and putting the box there and then backing up. And sometimes it helps to just be walking when you're doing that. It's a bit of a pain, but it works. And then move over and keep planting. Right. So it's really like you're actually on the ground, although you have these superpowers that you can fly. And you just keep planting. But you start to create your own neighborhood.
Where's your? Just give me. Bring it closer, please. If you want lemon.
Thank you. Alright, so there's that, and then I can fly forward, and there was a hedge in between the houses, and so now I can rotate this and place this down, and the kids will recognize that that is an actual. Push it back in with F. So, oops, that didn't work out. Oops, don't want to do that. Alright, oops, did I mess something up here? Alright, no. Alright, so let me place this here and then back up and try to place another one. And then back up and try to place. And I've really messed up the placement of these, haven't I? Okay, you can always go back and fix that. So I'll place it there, but I also now want to shrink it, and the resize axis. Oops, didn't seem to get that. Okay, so paste it. So there's going to be these issues of getting proper placement.
Done, huh?
Not so easy.
Can I get rid of one of them?
And then with this one, if I resize axis is depth. Okay, that's fine. And then tab into, there's height, and there's width, which, there we go.
Keep that color.
And then bring it back.
Yeah.
And then push it down. Right, so I didn't place them all that well, but at least it's beginning to come together, as you can see. I do have to lift this up, and now when I stand back, you see it's beginning to come. The last thing I'll do is I'll put in some turf, and for the turf I have to get, there's a sports gallery tends to have turf. Who else has turf in here? Wild West Gallery, here it is, grass and dirt floor gallery, and then grab the generic grass, and that's pretty big. And then you can go and start laying in the grass, as you can see.
I think this one is bishops too.
This and this.
Alright.
I need to do some.
And then we'll have to build
today.
the buildings.
And I'll give you what I don't use.
Okay.
But I think now, if you compare
Did you take
this
enough,
image, it's
crackers?
not perfect,
Yeah, I
but then
took
go back to the
5
reference,
You sure?
and you can see
Wait, I just opened it.
that's the hedge I just tried to put in. And yeah, again,
You see
not
it
perfect,
snapped
but
like it's a
something else.
pin.
Oh, there's
I know
one
that.
more tree at the end of the property there that we should
put
put in. And so let's go back to trees and open this one. We have a different tree here. I'll take that tree and place it. There it is. And then go down to the edge of the property there. And there's a tree that goes,
small.
should go there. Oops, oh good. Gotta pull it and then place it. Okay, getting better, as you can see. So it's just a start for how to model something in a program that gives you all these limitations. And there's a bush around that tree. Oh yeah, so there's a bush. A bush right around the tree. So let's go back to our bushes. Let's area foliage. Let's go to the shrub gallery and let's get this one here and move that to surround the tree. Yeah. Put a couple of these to make it thicker foliage, but
نحن على طول كان حتى مع عمتي كانت يسموه مفتت الخبز القديم.
gives us a bit of an idea. All right, that's one can just spend hours. There's the sun going down, so it's time to quit for now. But that gives some idea of how we would create our own neighborhoods in Fortnite. Thanks so much. Bye.
Yeah.